Have you ever walked into a room and felt like something shifted without anyone saying a word? That's no coincidence. There's something about you that shows up before your physical presence. That's energy. It's your aura, an invisible field you radiate just by being who you are. Your presence has weight, it vibrates, and it arrives before your voice. Carl Jung called this the self, the organizing center of the human psyche, where ego and essence meet. When this alignment happens, your energy becomes tangible. And for some people, it can feel uncomfortably intense. Some are drawn to it, others feel threatened, because your light, without meaning to, can expose the shadows others prefer to keep hidden. Since ancient times, mythologies and cultural traditions have spoken of individuals whose energy feels larger than life. The shaman who enters a village and shifts the collective mood. The charismatic figure who diffuses conflict with calm presence. Or that person who walks into a room and causes everyone to fall silent for a moment, as if time were suspended. What do these figures have in common? An inner coherence that vibrates outward, a living energy that stirs the environment, an aura that doesn't hide. And in this video, we're going to explore 13 signs that your aura is so powerful, it might make people uncomfortable. So stick with me until the end, because besides understanding these 13 signs, you'll start to recognize your own power and realize that what makes you different isn't a problem. It's exactly what makes you magnetic. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. The first sign is that your presence is inexplicably striking. Some people fade as fast as they appear, and others linger, even after they've left, even if they said little, or we barely know anything about them. It's not something you see, it's something you feel. People say, there's something about that person, and that's simply the subtle density of your energy, the coherence between who you are on the inside and what you radiate outward. The body shows up later. The psyche was already in the room. Carl Jung said the psyche transcends the limits of the body. We're more than flesh and thought. We're presence. And that presence is shaped by everything we've lived through, everything we've integrated, and the truths we stand for. The more authentic someone becomes, the more refined their energy, and the more unforgettable it becomes, without even trying. It's a quiet force, but undeniable. Like a scent no one can see, but everyone senses. And somehow, it triggers memories, stirs emotions, disturbs or soothes. That mark you leave is, in fact, a reflection of your inner consistency. And consistency isn't rigidity, it's alignment between what you think, feel, and do. That creates a unique energetic signature, a kind of frequency that doesn't fade with time. Don't try to explain yourself, or hold yourself back. You weren't made to go unnoticed. It's common for people with this striking presence to sometimes feel out of place, because your energy arrives first, and people react, often with resistance, projections, or fascination. But they won't always recognize you clearly. And that brings us to the second sign that your aura is so powerful. People feel expanded or threatened around you. Your presence isn't neutral. It activates, amplifies, provokes. Because your energy touches what's been hidden, sometimes locked away, in others. You access psychic layers without asking a single question, just by being there. Jung said each of us carries a shadow, everything we had to suppress, reject, or forget in order to be accepted. That shadow lives in the unconscious, but it's not dead. It reacts. And when you show up with a clean, intense, authentic aura, it feels threatened. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you represent something the other person can't yet hold within themselves. Truth is scary when someone is still living behind masks. People who are in internal conflict often project onto you what they don't want to face in themselves. You become a mirror for everything they've buried. Unlived desires, suppressed power, unhealed pain. That can spark irritation, sudden dislike, even hostility, with no logical reason. But there's another side too. Because your energy is expansive, it can become a key to awakening. For those who are ready, your presence becomes a portal. They feel bigger around you. They feel courage, connection, even a sense of liberation. You always emit the same energy. What changes is the state of the one receiving it. You're often a catalyst for transformation, a living reminder that there is more awareness, more wholeness, more truth. And not everyone is ready for that. Some will run. Others will come closer, like they've finally found something they didn't even know they were searching for. That's how your aura works. It expands the field around it, and everyone reacts according to what they carry inside. Some people walk in and make the world feel bigger. Others get scared because you reveal what the world still tries to hide. The third sign that your aura is incredibly powerful is that animals, children, and nature respect and recognize you. The aura, understood as the energetic or psychic field that emanates from every being, has a deep connection with the instinctive world, and that's where animals come in, with a sensitivity that often surpasses human perception. Animals don't read words. They read energy. They're not impressed by status, looks, or tone of voice. They pick up on what lies beneath: intention, vibration, emotional state. An animal knows when you're nervous, even if you're smiling. It senses fear, affection, imbalance, or peace. That's because their communication is subtle, silent, and energetic. When your aura is clear, centered, and coherent, animals trust. They approach naturally. They feel safe. That perception is instinct. It's a kind of awareness that goes beyond rationality. Animals, children, and nature itself are expressions of the living unconscious. And the unconscious, as Jung said, understands symbols, vibration, archetypes. It doesn't need explanations. It recognizes what's true because it vibrates on the same frequency. And what they recognize in you, when your aura is awakened, is exactly that: silent truth. A dog, a cat, or even a wild animal can remain calm around someone whose energy radiates truth and presence. It's as if nature has taught them to see with the body, not with the eyes. They don't see the character, they see the real field. And the opposite is also true. When there's inner chaos, hidden tension, or repressed emotion, animals pick up on that too. They may pull away, become suspicious, bark, or hide. Not because you're bad, but because your frequency is unstable. It's not judgment, it's energetic reading. In nature's language, strength doesn't shout. It stays firm, yet gentle. Animals connect more easily with those who are in tune with that quiet strength, that calm kind of power. It shows how the aura is a bridge. It translates your presence into a language beyond words. And animals speak that language fluently. The connection between aura and children is deep, instinctive, and often magical. Not in a mystical sense, but magical in the purity of perception. Children don't filter with their minds. They filter with their energy field. They haven't been fully shaped by social norms yet, so they perceive things as they're felt, not as they're said. Before they understand words, they pick up on the energy behind your eyes, your tone of voice, your presence. An unbalanced aura can make them restless. A grounded, warm aura can instantly calm them. When your aura is clean, real, and connected, children trust. The beauty of this sign is that it doesn't require effort. It doesn't demand performance. It demands presence. It demands truth. And the instinctive world, animals, children, and nature, responds to that with a purity that few adults still possess. The fourth sign that your aura is so powerful it might unsettle others is simple, silent, and often unsettling. You intimidate without trying. You walk into a space with a calm heart, peaceful eyes, no intention to assert dominance, and still, you notice defenses going up, rigid postures, tense voices, forced smiles, as if your mere presence had triggered an alarm. That can be hard to accept at first, especially if you're a kind person who values respect and avoids anything that might come off as arrogant. But what intimidates isn't what you do, it's what you represent. In Jung's language, the persona is the social mask we learn to wear to be accepted. And the more someone is trapped in that mask, the more fragile it becomes in the face of someone else's authenticity. You're not putting on a show, you're just being. But that just being is too much for someone still living on the defensive. Your authenticity puts pressure on illusion, and even without meaning to, that can feel like a threat. People project. They invent stories about you. They assume superiority where there's only presence. They see arrogance where there's only truth, and that says more about them than about you. Your silence might feel like judgment. Your firmness might be read as coldness. Your clarity might be mistaken for rigidity. Because those who haven't embraced their own light will often see someone else's as something aggressive. But there's something even deeper in this sign. You carry the energy of inner coherence. And coherence is rare. It challenges what's misaligned in others. Your mere existence suggests, without saying a word, it's possible to live without pretending. And that shakes anyone who's built their life around roles and expectations. You don't need to tone yourself down to make others comfortable. That would be a subtle form of self-betrayal. Some people will be inspired by your quiet strength. Others will be reactive. but that's not your responsibility. It's just the only way they know how to respond to what hasn't yet awakened within themselves. You do intimidate, yes, but not because you want to dominate. You intimidate because you reveal. And there are people who confuse presence with threat, when all they've known is absence. The fifth sign that your aura is incredibly powerful is that you shift the energy of a space. Sometimes you notice it, sometimes you don't, but it happens. It's not a flashy power that demands attention. It's the opposite. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need to show off. It just settles in. You walk in, and something realigns. People sit up straighter. Others look away. Some go quiet without realizing. For a few seconds, the room seems to adjust its emotional temperature. That's not control. It's field. Energy healer and scientist Barbara Brennan, author of Hands of Light, explains that the human energy field extends far beyond the physical body. According to her, our aura reaches out in all directions, and even without us realizing it, it interacts with everything around us. With people, with the environment, with the emotional atmosphere of a space. Brennan says this field carries subtle information about who we are, what we feel, and even what we've lived through. And that's why, when your energy is strong, aligned, and true, it reorganizes the space. Not through effort, but through presence. Carl Jung spoke of symbolic presence, the living energy of an individual that, even without intention, activates the unconscious of others. And that's exactly what happens when you arrive. Your energy carries symbols, archetypes that speak to what's dormant in the space. You represent something, even if you don't mean to, and that shifts things. Some people call it a strong presence, but it's not strength in the aggressive sense. It's vibrational coherence. And coherence creates resonance. It organizes, it disturbs, it transforms. You may not realize the impact you have, but the space around you does. The field responds. Always. Your aura doesn't need a stage. It works in the invisible. And wherever you go, nothing stays quite the same. The sixth sign that your aura is too powerful to ignore is that your intuition reads people and spaces effortlessly. It's not guesswork. It's not a mystical gift. It's silent reading, a sensitivity that operates beneath the level of logic, yet with almost eerie accuracy. You walk into a place and just know something's off, even if everything looks normal. You can tell when someone is uncomfortable, even if they're smiling. You feel tension in the air, even when the mood seems calm. You just know. It's like your skin breathes the atmosphere, like your body translates the codes of the invisible. That's intuition. And when your aura is clean and expanded, it becomes a fine-tuned antenna. It picks up frequencies, nuances, subtle vibrations, and it turns them into instant but accurate perceptions. Jung said the unconscious speaks through symbols, emotions, and sensations. And intuition is the language of the self, a kind of internal compass that doesn't shout but guides. It doesn't explain, but it points. It doesn't argue, but it reveals. That's why you know when energy is out of tune. You know when someone's pretending to be okay. You know when a space feels heavy, light, manipulative, or safe, without needing proof, backstory, or context. This kind of perception can be uncomfortable, because it reveals truths before facts catch up. And many times, you try to convince yourself that it's not really that you're just overthinking. But deep down, you already know. Your aura reads. Your body reads. The language is vibrational, and even without trying, you're always translating. Sometimes this protects you. Other times, it overwhelms you. You don't always want to know so much. You don't always want to feel so much. But you do. And that's not a flaw. It's awakened sensitivity. You carry a symbolic perception of reality. You see beyond the literal. You feel through layers. And in today's world, that's a rare kind of power. Intuition can't be taught, but it can be nurtured. And the more aligned you are with your own truth, the clearer the world around you becomes. The seventh sign your aura is powerful is simple, but unmistakable. Small talk drains you. You've tried. You've smiled, nodded, made polite conversation about the weather, the usual, the expected, but something in you shrivels during those exchanges. It's your energy field rejecting what lacks substance. Your aura knows when there's real presence, and when it's just empty words stacked up to fill silence. You feel it in your body. Your energy drops. Your chest tightens. Your mind drifts. Something inside you starts to check out, like it's saying, "There's nothing for me here." And honestly, there isn't. You weren't made to keep up social masks. Your presence demands presence. And that scares people, because it calls for realness, true listening, genuine contact. It's not about wanting deep conversations all the time. It's about truth. It's about connection. Jung said we become whole by integrating the unconscious, and superficiality is the exact opposite of that. It's the refusal to look. It's role-playing. It's talking in circles to avoid the center. And you, just by existing, point to the center. But that selective frequency also comes with a side effect: loneliness. Because the world is full of noise, but starving for presence. And when you start demanding, silently, that interactions be real, the crowd thins out. You end up with fewer conversations, but more meaningful ones. Fewer people, but more soul. Loneliness then stops being an absence and becomes a filter. A clean space where you don't have to shrink to fit in. The eighth sign your aura is powerful is that other people's shadows get projected onto you. The more whole your energy, the more it activates what others have repressed. You don't have to say a word. Just being is enough. And suddenly, you get over-the-top reactions. Idealized admiration, baseless criticism, silent distancing. As I mentioned earlier, the shadow is everything we've had to repress, reject, or forget in order to be accepted. This core concept in Jungian psychology explains why one person's truth can trigger unconscious discomfort in another. You show up with authenticity, and that creates disruption. Your presence reveals what others are still trying to hide. Your aura acts like a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see themselves. It's not about you, but it moves through you. That's why learning to tell what's truly yours and what's being projected onto you is essential. Not to defend yourself, but so you don't lose yourself. Being a target of projection isn't punishment. It's a sign that you shine light, and everything lit reveals shadow. The ninth sign your aura is powerful is that your silences speak louder than your words. Silence is energetic containment. It's when you hold your energy instead of wasting it on needless talk, forced explanations, or trying to please. In that held space, something rare is born: presence. Presence is what fills a room without effort. It's when someone walks in and shifts the atmosphere without saying a word. That kind of energy doesn't shout, doesn't justify itself. It just is. And that quiet being is what truly draws attention. People feel it. They don't even know why, but they feel it. People with strong auras know they don't have to explain everything all the time. They know silence can be more expressive than any speech. They know that often, what isn't said carries more power than 1,000 words. Silence, when conscious, radiates self-confidence. It shows you're at ease in your own presence, that you don't need to fill space to prove your worth, that your energy speaks for you. Loud people might get attention, but they don't hold magnetism. People with solid auras are remembered for how they make others feel, not for talking too much. Well-placed silence is an extension of your vibration, and vibration doesn't lie. At the end of the day, one of the strongest signs of an aura is this ability to influence in silence, to simply be there, whole, without needing to prove anything. Your energy does the talking. The 10th sign your aura is powerful is that you attract spontaneous confessions. You've been there. Someone you just met starts telling you deep stuff. Childhood stories, unhealed betrayals, fears they've never spoken out loud. Tears start falling out of nowhere. And all this happens in a conversation that was completely ordinary just a moment ago. It's like you open a field, a safe space, where others, without knowing why, feel they can take off their mask, even if just for a few minutes. It's not because you ask. It's because you hold space. You hold silence, discomfort, the other person's pain, without trying to fix it. Your aura welcomes, not with pity, but with presence. And that's rare. Jung said the unconscious is always looking for a way to express itself. And when it finds a proper vessel, an energy field that's stable, non-judgmental, free of expectation, it speaks. And sometimes it speaks a lot. That vessel is you. You're the kind of person who can hold someone else's truth without trying to reshape it, who listens with their whole body, who offers a kind of attention that doesn't seek answers, just connection. And the unconscious recognizes that. That's why people talk. They talk a lot. They talk without knowing why, and only realize afterward, once it's already been said. Then they look at you, sometimes with a bit of guilt, like they've revealed too much. But it wasn't exposure, it was relief. Your presence creates space, and space these days is medicine. Your aura doesn't force vulnerability. It allows it. You don't extract truths, you invite them. And only those at peace with their own shadow can hold someone else's without breaking. Don't be surprised if strangers tell you things they've never told anyone, or if friends say they feel different around you. The explanation is energetic, psychic, unconscious. You are a symbolic vessel, and only those who vibrate with steadiness can hold what others can no longer carry alone. The 11th sign your aura is powerful is that your freedom irritates those still hiding. The truly free make noise without saying a word. Your authenticity doesn't need to be aggressive to make people uncomfortable. It simply exists. And that alone is too much for those still hiding behind masks. Your freedom exposes what others are still trying to bury. You don't accuse, point fingers, or correct anyone. But just by being who you are, unapologetically, you become a mirror that's hard to face. Your way of living silently asks, and you, are you still pretending? Being free is dangerous in a world that rewards obedience. Because your lightness reveals the weight of the chains others still carry. Your courage highlights the cowardice of those clinging to comfort and conformity. That's why you disturb. Not because you want to, but because your energy challenges without touching. It irritates without offending. Your presence becomes a silent threat to those who haven't given themselves permission to fully exist. People with strong auras don't need to convince anyone. They're not trying to prove anything. They simply live. And that, in itself, is revolutionary. Have you ever left a place, but your presence stayed? That's sign 12. You leave an impact. Even after you're gone. That's what happens when your aura has weight. People feel your absence. The silence you leave behind speaks volumes. It's not ordinary missing. It's energetic memory. The energy you carry leaves a mark on the space. It imprints sensations. When you leave, something remains. Sometimes it's discomfort. Other times it's a void. And often it's a presence that continues to inspire, challenge, or touch those who stayed. This can't be bought, forced, or faked. It's something you are. A strong aura doesn't depend on performance. It creates impact even in silence, even in absence. What you've built within yourself continues to resonate outwardly, even after you've stepped out. Some people are forgotten while they're still present. Others are remembered because they truly were present. You were there, but you stayed. And the final sign that your aura is so powerful it might make others uncomfortable is this. Your inner journey has shaped the aura you radiate. What others feel in you, that groundedness, that peace, that light, didn't come from books or feel-good quotes. It came from the path, from long nights facing your own shadow, from lonely restarts, from symbolic deaths, where parts of you had to collapse so something more real could rise. A lot of people talk about aura as if it's a spontaneous glow, but what truly emanates is the result of what's been purified within. Aura isn't born ready. It's built in intimacy with pain, with truth, with the choice not to betray yourself. You are not light because you never knew darkness. You are light because you learned how to walk through it. That force that unsettles, attracts, stirs others. It comes from the depth of what you've faced inside. You've seen yourself fragile, ugly, lost, and chose to come back whole. Now your aura speaks before you do. But what it says isn't about power. It's about process, about courage, about the beauty that blooms when someone stops running from themselves. People call it glow, magnetism, a different vibe. But what they're really feeling is something else. Embodied truth, a soul that's been through the fire and didn't burn out. You no longer pretend to be. You are. And that by itself changes everything around you. If you've made it this far, you already understand. This isn't about thinking you're better. It's about being more awake. The signs we explored aren't medals or spiritual labels. They're reflections of inner work, quiet, deep, and often solitary. They show that your presence carries weight not because you seek attention, but because you no longer fit into the mold of the ordinary. Your energy disturbs because it reflects. It reveals what's misaligned, what's been suppressed, what's still unresolved in others. You don't do it on purpose. You just are, and that alone activates, unsettles, transforms. Your aura is your spiritual signature. It's not something you control. It's the invisible trace of your truth. And the more internally aligned you are, the stronger this field becomes. More real, more felt, and more impossible to ignore. Yes, you'll be misunderstood. Yes, people will project onto you. But that's part of the path of those who don't live to please. It's the price of being whole. Don't shrink. Don't dim your light just because it blinds those not ready to see. Don't slow your stride just because it unsettles those who haven't begun their walk. Don't make yourself smaller to fit into spaces that can no longer hold your expansion. Your presence is a reminder, a mirror, a silent invitation for others to awaken too. As Carl Jung said, the collective unconscious reacts to what it hasn't yet integrated. You're one of the few, and you're not here to please. You're here to live in truth. Embrace your energy. Honor what you carry. Don't apologize for being whole, because in the end, your aura isn't about you. It's about what you awaken in the world just by existing. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, so you keep receiving content like this, designed to help you understand and strengthen your energy. And if you stayed with me this far, I want to know, who are the ones who feel their own presence? Comment below. My aura speaks before I do. That'll be our silent password. The ones who know will recognize. See you in the next video.